put a lift kit on the Camaro. Getting ready to start pulling the engine out. And we can figure out what exactly happened to the camshaft. The first thing I want to do is start by draining the coolant. I'll transfer that to a different drip pan and drain out the oil. I don't know if I'll have to take the radiator out or not. I might, just so I don't damage anything. And then we'll go from there. Alright, so I got the coolant drained. I popped off the lower radiator hose first, which is right here. Connects right here. I drained all that out. And I popped off this lower hose. It's one of the lowest ones on the engine. Let the majority of the coolant get out of here. You got to take these two hoses off, which go to the heater core back behind the firewall. And then you got to take off the two transmission cooler lines. You got to take off all the other radiator hoses and stuff. So the transmission cooler lines are these ones. They've got this little black cap on it. It pops off really easy. You just slide it out of the way. And then around this groove, there is this little tiny snap ring. So you just pop that off of there, and then you can pull that out. Now, if you're doing a project where you're taking more than one thing off or apart, grab you some Ziploc bags, a little Sharpay, and label on the bag what these pieces come off of. So these are those snap rings that came off the transmission cooler lines. Slap them in these bags, make you a pile. So everything I've taken off so far, labeled, that way I'll know exactly what it goes to when it's time to put everything back together. And there's two bolts holding the transmission cooler onto the radiator. Actually, that's not a transmission cooler. I think it's for the air conditioning system. And it probably cools a few other things, I don't know. But there's a bolt here and a bolt on the other side. Take those off and it separates the two. And then this is ready to come out. I've got the radiator out. I'm going to move that somewhere. I'm not going to be stepping on it. This is what we're left with in here. You don't have to remove this. If you do, you have to disconnect refrigerant lines. And I don't want to just bleed that out into the atmosphere. And I also don't have a refrigerant machine to recharge it. I'm going to take all the accessories off the front of the motor while it's still mounted in here. That way whatever's going to leak out can get down into my drip pan. And then I'm going to disconnect the AC compressor, which is right here, and hang that off to the side so that hopefully that way it's out of the way and I don't have to disconnect those lines. Made some good progress today. Got all the accessories pulled off, radiator out. I was able to take 3 of the bolts all the way out for the AC compressor. There's one on the bottom here on the front that wouldn't come all the way out, but it came out of the bracket, so it came free, but you couldn't completely remove it from here, which is fine. So I think this will be out of the way enough now that the engine and the bracket will come up around it. I don't have to worry about recharging the AC system, hopefully, if all goes well. I got a few more things to do. There's one more bolt holding on this wiring harness, which is behind the headers. Then I got to take the exhaust headers loose, separate the engine from the transmission, and after that I think it's ready to come out. It's going to be all for today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. I completely forgot that I was recording the video on taking the engine out and all that, and I already have the engine out of the car. Just take the headers off with it jacked up just this high. I was able to get the headers out, the exhaust headers out through the bottom. And you don't have to remove any bolts from the torque converter. All you have to do is take off the bell housing bolts, remove the motor mounts, a bunch of other crap that's in the way, anything that's holding the engine on. And for extra clearance, I took the radiator out. And after that, I just used a pry bar on the bottom, separated the engine and transmission, and it came out. And I was able to get it out of there with this cherry picker. So next thing I'm going to do, I got to take the clutch off and the flywheel, and then after that I'm going to get it mounted onto my engine stand. Gonna be in the way all day. There are 6 bolts holding the pressure plate and the clutch onto the flywheel. Just going to zip these off. I'm not going to reuse this hardware. I'm going to replace it all, and I'm also going to check the clutch to see if it needs to be replaced. All right. Well, this clutch was going to go out at any time now. It's no padding left on it. Lots of clutch dust in here from where it's been getting worn down. And this mating surface all the way around is very pitted and lots of grooves. So it's just gonna wear a new clutch down faster. So I can either have, I don't know if these can be turned. If they can, I'll have that resurfaced. If not, I'll just buy a new one. Same thing with this clutch, or the pressure plate. On this side, this is pretty pitted too. It's not smooth. It's had the hell beat out of it, so I have to put a new clutch in it. Unfortunate. Whoever had this car before me must have beat the hell out of it, because this thing's in pretty bad shape. But it's also a 2010, and who knows how long it's been on there. And so I'm going to put a new clutch on it. There's a piece on the transmission shaft that pushes out, and it puts pressure on the pressure plate. It's called a throwout bearing. I'm going to replace that too. So either this rear main seal, this oil pan gasket, or both have been leaking. So I'm going to replace all those while it's out. I might just get a rebuild kit and do the whole engine. Replace this bearing. I'm going to check the crankshaft when I get it all taken apart. But for now, I'm going to get the engine stand connected. Well, one thing I wanted to show you, when you're taking the engine out, the transmission, there's only one mount, and it's right here on the end of it. So there's nothing really to support the weight once it's separated from the engine. There's a hole right here, a bolt hole, and a bolt hole right here. And it just so happens that the bell housing bolts thread perfectly into those. They can just run a chain across, bolt those in, and your transmission will be supported. All right, the engine's on the stand now. That's probably all I'm gonna do for this video. Next video, I'm gonna start taking all of this off the front so I can get the camshaft out. I'm gonna take the heads off and see if we can figure out what happened to the cam lobe. When this plate's off, you can see the cam lobe that got damaged. It's the cylinder 1 exhaust cam lobe. It's ground down pretty bad. So I'm sure there's some metal flakes inside the engine pan and stuff like that. So we're gonna have to flush out the entire system and try to flush out all the lines that are on the car so we don't get metal circulating through the engine once everything's clean and put back together. Next video, we'll tackle pulling the cam out.